Very good afternoon to each and everyone present here. I'm Dr. Ilango from India. My original state is Tamil Nadu, which is in the southernmost part of India. I come from a college by name Veterinary College and Research Institute, which comes under the aegis of the renowned Tamil Nadu Veterinary and Animal Sciences University. Since morning, we have been witnessing very many talks on very many domains of One Health, and my talk will be on the very issue which sits at the intersection of human health, animal health, and farming efficiency. The title is Prudent Use of Antimicrobials in Livestock and Poultry and Their Alternatives. As this gathering is of heterogeneous nature, let me give an overview about the antibiotics, antimicrobials. So antimicrobial is a term, is a broad umbrella term which, under which we have antibiotics, antivirals, antifungals, antiparasites, and so on and so forth. And the world is witnessing resistance. We have been, human beings, taking very many antibiotics for very many ailments. A good old saying is that if it is of viral nature, we should not take, there is no need to take antibiotics. The good old saying is that if you are suffering from cold, if you take antibiotics, it will last for a week. If you don't take antibiotics, it will last for 7 days. What I mean to say is that even if you don't take antibiotics, the cold will get cured on its own. So, but the thing is that the Asian people, especially in lower middle income countries and middle income countries, we have been taking antibiotics very unjudiciously, improperly, with a lower dosage. The antibiotics, when it was discovered, it was not discovered only for human medicine. The antibiotics which are being used in human medicine are being used in livestock and poultry as well. So because of that, because of the improper usage and non-judicious usage of antibiotics, we have been facing a crisis by name AMR, antimicrobial resistance. So because of that, even if you take antibiotics, the ailment will not get cured. The doctor will prescribe first a broad spectrum antibiotic, then he will switch over to another antibiotics, so the cost will be escalating enormously in terms of hospital cost. So in the subsequent slides, I will be explaining about the ways by which we can cut the cost and how to reduce the antibiotics and what are the alternatives in One Health perspective. So antimicrobial resistance, it's being termed as a silent killer. And it seems that 5 people are dying globally in every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, we encounter a fatality of 2 persons globally. And around 1.27 million deaths are being encountered per year globally. And when you talk in terms of the GDP loss, and this is going to be about $2 trillion by year 2050. The WHO predicts that there will be a death of around 10 million people by 2050 every year if we don't address this issue. 10 million people will be dying per year by 2050 onwards because of the antimicrobial resistance alone. So the total cost, in terms of GDP is being given here for 5 major economies. So as I told you that for 2015, around 700,000 deaths were encountered, and the projected is like 10 million. So this, again, as I told you some time back, it can be called as a silent pandemic. It is not in the foresight. We are facing it. We are facing this antimicrobial resistant crisis at the plain sight. And what are the drivers for the usage of antimicrobials on livestock and poultry? Thing is that we have been facing a huge burgeoning population which needs to, for them we need to feed protein. The entire world will one day will probably depend on livestock-based foods like milk, meat, and egg. So because of the need for protein, the farmers, especially livestock farmers and poultry owners, are trying for intensive practices. If you start doing intensive practices, the amount of the antibiotics which is being used as antibiotic growth promoter, AGP, will be, strictly speaking, if antibiotic is to be effective, it has to be taken continuously for a minimum of 5 days. Then only the ailment will get cured, and also the resistance will not get transmitted, will not get developed. And also subtherapeutic usage of antibiotics for long periods and sudden withdrawal of antibiotic treatment. As I mentioned earlier, you need to take for the full course, not only in human beings, but also in livestock and poultry. If an antibiotic is injected into the animal, and it will be given at the appropriate dose for a period required, minimum period required, maybe for about 5 to 7 days. And again, as I told you, poor waste management. From dung, from feces, from manure, there will be every chances for the antibiotic residues or antibiotic resistant genes to go to the water bodies and to contaminate the soil and to contaminate other human beings and also other animals who are grazing, which are grazing in that area. And this is a trend, this slide gives a trend about the antimicrobial agents and emergence of drug resistance. Also, and it will take a minimum of 10 to 15 years to produce on antibiotics. You need $1 billion to develop an antibiotics. Though the laboratories, they'll start doing research with thousands of molecules, and so finally they'll come out with over 6 or 7 molecules, and it has to be subjected to very many trials, phase 1, phase 2, and that is why it will be requiring for about 10 to 20 years, 10 to 15 years. Thing is that when Alexander Fleming first discovered penicillin way back in 1928, and he was awarded Nobel Prize in 1945. After receiving the Nobel Prize award, he has opined that the time may come when penicillin can be bought by anyone in the shops. Then there is the danger that the ignorant man may easily underdose himself, and by exposing his microbes to non-lethal quantities of the drug, make them resistant. So 8 years back, Alexander Fleming, he has predicted, it's a ominous prediction or speculation that if it is not properly used, then definitely the world, the human beings will suffer because of the antimicrobial resistance. This one, sorry. So this slide shows the discovery and resistance. So it took almost, the discovery of penicillin is 1928. It took 12 hours for the resistance to develop. And then the other antibiotic was discovered in 1948, tetracycline in 1948. It took almost only 5 years to develop resistance. So the resistance, the gap to develop resistance has been shrinking year by year. So this depicts that we need to take utmost care in using the antibiotics. And it's almost 30 years since a new antibiotic has come in. So we are living in an era of antibiotic drought. And again, when you talk in terms of the usage in poultry, because the panelists, in the morning they told that poultry meat is being consumed here around 70 to 80 kgs. The four largest poultry producers are China, India, USA, Brazil, and European. And highest use of antibiotics is for growth promotion. Now, but because of the eruption of antimicrobial resistance, the economies, major economies and developing economies, they have started doing policy making, and they have reduced usage of the antimicrobial growth promoters. Now they are using alternatives. Because of that, AMR or antimicrobial resistance incidence is going down. And they started using for three major diseases like colibacillosis, necrotic enteritis, and chronic respiratory diseases. We have both gram-negative and gram-positive organisms, the multiple drug resistant in both the things. And these bacteria harboring AMR genes are highly prevalent in poultry manure and contaminate the environment. So poultry farms operating on larger scales, antimicrobials are added in feed and water because the population is huge in poultry farms. They cannot give antibiotics individually to each and every bird. So they will be adding antibiotics in the water or feed. So the remaining water will be waste, will be discarded into the common pool, and it will contaminate the surrounding environment. And when you talk in terms of cattle production, so the tetracycline is widely used to antibiotics in cattle production, and similarly in pig production, penicillin and tetracycline, fluoroquinolones are the most commonly used antibiotics. So in poultry, the judicious usage of antibiotics in both cattle, in pig, not only in these kind of livestock sector, but of course all the sectors, it is highly essential to use the antibiotics very judiciously and properly. And this slide again depicts the establishment of resistant genes throughout the world in products like chicken, raw milk, and in multivarious countries. E. coli, we have carbapenemase producing E. coli, and MRSA, methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. These are all of highly important pathogens when you talk in terms of the human treatment. Yeah, I'll just come in. And in our lab, we have we have established the pervasive presence of the antimicrobial resistance in Staphylococcus aureus and Streptococcus, Klebsiella, Pseudomonas. We have targeted the specific virulent gene attributed to the antimicrobial resistance. And we have also established the conformity of cholesterol and carbapenem resistant E. coli and Salmonella in foods of animal origin by PCR method. And these are another slide depicting both cholesterol and carbapenem resistance. And this is a prevalence of ESBL, extended spectrum beta-lactamase producing Salmonella, which is of a common foodborne pathogen which needs to be addressed. And again, in the Staphylococcus aureus, this is the antibiotic profile which we have investigated in our laboratory. See, some are resistant. Ampicillin is resistant, is showing 100% resistant. And the same Staphylococcus aureus was subjected to multiple PCR, wherein we have confirmed the specific gene MEC-A positive, which is meant for the methicillin resistant Staph aureus, which our medicos are facing a huge havoc in treating that disease. And global consequence of AMR, as you all know pretty well, that I told you already that there is no antibiotics. We are living in an era of antibiotic drought. So because not all the antibiotics are working properly because of the antimicrobial resistance, morbidity is more, increased morbidity, increased mortality, and increased hospitalization, and increased healthcare cost. And because of the increased hospitalization, obviously there will be productive loss. It is estimated that the workforce productivity loss will be $443 billion by 2035. $443 billion by 2035. And one more thing is that this is very important thing, that the lifespan, average lifespan loss will be 1.8 years of life expectancy globally by 2025. This side, there will be increased outbreak of infectious diseases, loss of livestock productivity, which ultimately endangers food security. And if the animal products contains the residues, definitely there will be ban on the export of the food products from a particular country, and there will be disruption of the trade. The World Bank estimate that AMR could result in 1 trillion additional healthcare cost by 2050 and 1 trillion to 3.4 trillion GDP loss by 2030. And regulations, major economies, they have started doing regulatory procedures. China started way back in 2015. And so because of the strict procedures, policies, in 2024, the antibiotic usage was decreased by 53% in China. Similarly, in India, we have started taking strict measures in banning colistin, which is of the final drug of resort in human medicine treatment. And in 2025, a few months back, India has banned around 15 antibiotics and 18 antivirals that are being used in human medicine in livestock and with the poultry enterprises. So it's because of that, maybe in another couple of years, we will have reduced incidence of antimicrobial resistant genes in this sector. And this slide shows the regulations across the globe. It started way back in 1972 itself in Europe. And in USA, they started in 2014. Subtherapeutic antibiotics used in livestock feed was prohibited. Likewise, in 2023, they have strictly advocated prescription should be there to give or to disperse medicines from the medical shop. And a case study of lowering antibiotic use in livestock and still be profitable. These are all successful models wherein instead of using antibiotics, they have practiced strict hygienic practices, biosecurity measures. Thereby, they have not compromised the profit, but they have reduced the antibiotics. So if strict holistic hygienic practices and biosecurity measures are taken, and by using some alternatives, which I will explain in subsequent slides, we can reduce, we will not reduce the quality or the productivity, but we will reduce the incidence of AMR genes. Likewise, in Sweden also we have a successful working model, and National Action Plan in China, it has reduced the incidence of antimicrobial resistance enormously. Likewise, with the strategies, we need to make aware of the common people about the ill effect of the non-judicious usage of antibiotics and improve antimicrobial surveillance. And we need to strengthen the research on alternatives. And as we have been talking all along since morning, we need to have a collaboration and global networking in order to prevent the non-judicious or improper usage of antibiotics. And prudent antimicrobial usage in veterinary practices. So I'll just talk. When you talk regarding antibiotics, the non-antibiotic alternatives, we have probiotics. We hope most of you know about probiotics, which are live microorganisms which, when ingested in sufficient amount, will impact the gut microflora and will modulate the immunity, and also it will be helpful for overall well-being of livestock or poultry or for even human beings. We have prebiotics, which are non-digestible ingredients, which will promote the growth of good bacteria in guts, and also probiotic. If it is combined with probiotics, it will work enormously effectively. It is known as symbiotics. And one of the panelists was also talking about postbiotics, which are nothing but the bacterial metabolites and fragments of probiotic bacteria, which will be highly useful, which needs to be tapped. We have enzymes like xylanase, beta-glucanase, and phytases. We have some successful models wherein some poultry farmers, they have used the enzymes instead of antibiotics, and they have come out with good productivity. And we have organic acids. Now acidifiers like citric acid and acetic acid are being used in poultry farms in our Tamil Nadu and even some other parts of India also, instead of antibiotics, which gives better results than the antibiotics. And we have antimicrobial peptides, and very many peptides are there, small 4 or 5 amino acid peptides. We have niacin, which will act against some specific microorganisms that also need to be tapped. We have phytochemicals, plant-based phytochemicals, and we have some research studies and commercial products available, successfully working in poultry farms. And we need to do a vaccination. We need to develop proper vaccination against the emerging and re-emerging diseases. So if we practice holistic, hygienic practice with full tight biosecurity measures, with full vaccination, we can reduce the usage of antibiotics enormously. We have bacteriophages. So bacteriophages will act specifically on certain microorganisms. They will lyse the bacteria. We have one important product wherein they have a cocktail of 4 bacteriophages which are being used in poultry farms, which gives very effective control over the microorganisms. And we have immune modulators. So very many commercially available modulators also there. So instead of going for antibiotics, we can use these kind of natural alternatives, non-antibiotic alternatives, in order to ensure the productivity and also in order to safeguard the health of the human beings. Like this is the latest technology, CRISPR-Cas systems. This is a precise molecular engineering model which can be tapped in order to, which will target the virulent gene and also the bacteria. So this can be effectively used in due course of time. And as I told you again, I want to underline the fact that farm management, biosecurity are highly essential. These are all some constraints. And World Health Organization started way back in 2015, GLASS, Global Antimicrobial Resistance Surveillance Systems, which collects the data and interprets, because we don't have data for all the countries properly. And whereas very many groups are there, funded, developed by WHO. And we have a network in India by name INFAR, which has 36 locations in entire India, and it gives, it collects the data in order to prevent or mitigate the ill effect of antimicrobial resistance. And future directions, One Health. We need to collaborate. The epidemiologist has to talk to a veterinarian. A plant pathologist should talk to a veterinarian, and all these like that. We need to, the farmer has to be make aware of all the ill effects, and all the stakeholders involved in the livestock food production ecosystem must be involved in making this earth sustainable, because the antibiotics which we have right now are the finite sources. So we can't expect the antibiotics to come over in the next few years or next few decades, because if for the pharma companies are developing tablets for hypertension, because everyone is having BP, because then there will be a lot of profit which can be harvested. Likewise for diabetes, but the pharma companies are producing very many drugs. But antibiotics only in some cases will be used. So as I told you, only 20% of the antibiotics produced in the pharma companies are being used in medicine, human medicine. So we need to address these issues. We need to reduce the usage of antibiotics in livestock and animal husbandry sector and in aquaculture, so as to safeguard the Mother Earth, so as to sustain the future generation. Thank you.